How to lose your first 10 pounds. Okay. So if you're just getting started out, with fitness, this lifestyle, losing weight, there's some tricks that you can do. Losing the first 10 pounds can be daunting to some people. It just depends on if you've done this before. People brand new to dieting and working out, it can seem overwhelming. My number one advice, besides being in a calorie deficit, which means you're consuming less calories than you're burning each day, is to not do crash diets. Don't do these radical, crazy diets that you can't sustain for a long period of time. I think it's about small changes that you can implement, bit by bit. I mean, it's amazing. Someone can lose 10 pounds pretty quickly just from, like, let's say replacing soda, or even just cutting back on their soda if they don't want to cut it out entirely, right? And replacing that with like sparkling water, like the seltzer waters, the flavored waters. You will be amazed at how many calories you save that way. So small tricks like that, stuff that you can implement, little things that you can implement and keep long term. It doesn't do any good to, like cut out all carbs if down the road you're going to eat carbs again. I just think some of these crash diets and radical diets are not healthy. Yeah, you will lose weight, but as soon as you stop doing that, right, you're going to rebound right back. If you go back to the type of diet that you were doing before your crash diet, before the cleanse, before all this stuff, you're just going to rebound right back. I think cleansing and fasting have spiritual purposes, but I don't believe in those for losing weight. I don't think that's the way to go about losing weight. I don't think it's the healthiest way to go about it. And like I was mentioning, it's not sustainable. You're gonna bounce right back as soon as you stop fasting, as soon as you stop these radical diets. So small changes, being mindful of what you're using to season and cook with, like the condiments that you put on. I'll give you an example for me. I've mentioned in other videos, I love tuna. When I'm feeling like treating myself, I'll do tuna in olive oil, or I'll add my own olive oil, or even Italian dressing, right? For me, that's super tasty to me, like super delicious. It's actually kind of what got me into tuna, was adding the olive oil and the Italian dressing. But both of those have a lot of calories, right? Italian dressing is majority olive oil anyway, just with like some seasonings in it. So there's a lot of fat, there's a lot of calories in that. So for me, when I'm trying to lose weight, I will not use olive oil or Italian dressing. I'll switch to like a mustard, or like a spicy mustard, like horseradish mustard. And I'll put in like jalapenos or some onions or scallions for a little texture. But you compare the calories in mustard to Italian dressing, and we're talking a night and day difference. We're talking almost a meal's worth difference. I mean, there's virtually no calories in mustard. Neither are in jalapenos or onions, right? So Italian dressing and olive oil, there's hundreds of calories depending on how much you put in it. But just a small little tablespoon, you can look, of both of those have, easily 100 calories, or around them. So, for me, switching that out, that's saving me, let's say I eat 2 cans of tuna a day, sometimes even 3 if I'm really strapped on protein. That's going to save me 300 to 500 calories just from switching Italian dressing and olive oil to my mustard, right? My horseradish mustard, right? So that's an example for me. Maybe it can be looked at as kind of not such a great example for some people, but that to me saves a bunch of calories. What you can do is figure out your own diet, right? And see what you can kind of cut out, or if not cut out, reduce. right? So the stuff that you know, common sense wise, or through your own research, is high in calories or maybe isn't the healthiest for you, work on reducing that. I'm a believer in not eliminating foods that you love. Um, Life is supposed to be enjoyed. I don't believe in like completely avoiding foods that you enjoy, because that's what this life's about, is to enjoy food. And especially high quality home cooked or family cooked meals. I mean, you got to enjoy that stuff. It's not about eliminating that stuff entirely. um, but really get in tune with yourself and see if these foods you actually enjoy, or they're just like filling a void for other things. I know back when I was a little overweight, I used to eat when I was just bored, right? So late at night, I'd be watching Adult Swim. Um, this was middle school, high school days, um, and I'd be eating, right? Not because I necessarily enjoyed the chips and the Oreos. I mean, yeah, they taste good. They're designed to taste good, right? Nobody dislikes those. But I wasn't eating those because I was hungry. I was bored. I would eat when I was bored. So once I got in touch with my body and realized, wait a minute, I'm not eating these necessarily because I love them, right? Because I'll still have an Oreo, I'll still have Doritos, like I'll still eat cookies and stuff. Nowadays, I like more of the family home cooked style cookies like Crumble or some of these other newer brands that are coming out. Um, but I'll still eat cookies because I enjoy cookies, right? There's a Voodoo Doughnuts here in Denver. So when I'm out at a show with my friends down in Denver, I will almost always advocate stopping for Voodoo Doughnuts. They're open 24 hours a day, and I'm a fan, right? So I'm not gonna like totally cut donuts out of my diet, but I'm not gonna have a donut every day. I'm not gonna eat at night when I'm bored anymore, right? Like chips and cookies and stuff. I really believe that everybody has vices, and a lot of people use food as a vice, right? It can be, you know, an outlet for stress is to eat, right? People eat when they're stressed, people eat when they're depressed, people eat when they're bored. So really getting in touch and figuring out, like, are you eating these foods because you thoroughly enjoy them and you can't live without them, or is there other stuff going on, right? I'm not a therapist, so it's for each individual to look at, right? Um, but I know when I cut out the late night snacks, I started seeing pounds drop super quickly, right? So yeah, losing your first 10 pounds, the reason I'm just nailing nutrition and diet is because, the gym and working out is great, that can burn off additional calories. But if you don't have that diet and nutrition down, or at least making changes with it, right? Being in a calorie deficit, you are never going to lose any weight. That's the number one thing, right? You can murder yourself at the gym, right? Have grueling workouts. But if you're still eating in a calorie surplus and, eating unhealthy foods, what I would call not nutrient dense, so not many nutrients in it. Donuts are a prime example of that. Um, you're not going to lose any weight. So, a lot of people, they're trying to lose weight. They start doing these crash diets. They see great progress, right? Because obviously, if you do radical diets or cut all carbs or something from your diet, you're going to see the number on the scale go down. Like, you're going to lose weight. But it's about turning this into a lifestyle where you can maintain that, right? You don't want to just keep doing crash diets and going up and down like this. That's not good for the body. The body wants to be in a homeostasis state, which means it's not really gaining or losing weight. That's what the body wants to be in. So, when you're trying to lose weight, take your time with it. Do it slow. There's make this a lifestyle change, something that you can implement ideally forever, but if not forever, for at least a long period of time. I always recommend that. So back on some tips that you can do, really focusing on nutrient dense foods, stuff that's gonna satiate you, right? Make you full. So vegetables are the king of this, right? I can eat. You got to watch again with the seasoning though, and the dressing, right? So a low calorie dressing that I always recommend people: balsamic vinegar and minimal oil if you want, like minimal olive oil. But balsamic vinegar, virtually no calories in balsamic vinegar, and you can eat a huge plate of vegetables, salads. I eat salads every day, bulking or cutting, but gaining weight or losing weight, I'm eating salads. But balsamic vinegar, make that your friend, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Make that your friend. Make mustard, balsamic vinegar, make those condiments and seasonings your friend. And there's others out there, right? There's hot sauce is a big one for me too. I like getting, smaller brand hot sauces like online and stuff. Just I like supporting the little guys. If any of you guys got a hot sauce you want to send me, feel free to message me because I got quite a collection. I love my hot sauces. And again, those hot sauces like that, they're virtually no calories. And there's a little bit of a thermogenic effect when you consume spicy foods too, right? One of my theories on why a lot of people in the East, especially developed nations in the East, are very fit and skinny is, they're eating spicy foods basically nonstop. So there's some thermogenesis that goes on, which basically means your body starts revving up its metabolism, right, to burn those foods. It's minimal. I don't think like you can eat a bunch of spicy foods and it's gonna make up for eating or a pack of Oreos that night, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's these little things that add up. So like you're a big soda drinker, if you truly love soda, right? I'm not telling you to quit soda entirely, although I don't think soda has a place in terms of health and wellness. But even myself, I will treat myself to a soda if I'm really craving it sometimes. It's rare. But I love me like a craft root beer or something like that, right? Delicious. So if you're big on soda, I would recommend just cutting back, right? Just reducing the amount of soda that you drink. You will see progress in just doing that. Just focusing on eating the majority of your calories as opposed to drinking them will help tremendously. It will help so much. When you eat your calories, it takes you longer to consume those calories, and then it also is going to fill up your stomach, so you feel full throughout the day, and that's what you want. Even things that are quote unquote healthy, like orange juice, which I love, and these juices, right? They got a lot of micronutrients, but I wouldn't call them nutrient dense because there's a lot of calories in them, right? As opposed to if you're just eating like a whole orange or the fruit itself, it'll take you a while to eat it. Still gonna get those micronutrients, but with less sugar, you'll feel more full because you're getting the fiber that's in the fruit, right? Instead of just the juice out of it. So really focusing on eating your calories, I think is huge. Salads, right? Learn to love salads. If balsamic vinegar is not your thing, there are other alternatives, right? You can get creative with it and figure things out. Just learn to read labels. I don't think you need to go as far as to track your calories. If you want to do that, if that's how like you work and you operate and you like being organized and stuff. I used to use MyFitnessPal. I'm not sure if it still works the same way that it did, but back in the day you could just enter pretty much any food, the amount of it that you're consuming, and it would break down how many fats, protein, carbs, calories are in that. So that's a great tool that you can kind of learn and get an idea of what's what. Now I don't know if those are 100% accurate, right? The science of that is kind of lacking, but you can get an idea. It can help you realize, and for some people it's a big eye opener. They didn't realize that peanut butter has a ton of calories in it until they look this stuff up. And so just becoming more mindful of how many calories and how many nutrients are in each foods, and making small incremental changes, right? So maybe first week, let's say you drink like couple sodas a day, go down to one soda a day. And then like a couple weeks go by, try to make that like every other day, right? And this is just an example, but small little changes like that are going to be much easier on the body. They will be easier for you to sustain, to keep with it long term. And then if you get down to a weight that you want, you won't feel the need to just jump right back to the type of lifestyle and diet that you were living before, because no one wants to just lose weight for 30 days and then go right back to where they were, unless like you're cutting for a fight, or you're doing something for a specific purpose. But if you're just trying to lose weight, like in general, no one wants to just lose weight for 30 days and then go right back to the weight that they were before. So finding things that you can maintain, right, for long periods of time or forever, but still balancing that with enjoyment, right? Because if you just cut out everything and avoid everything like the plague that you love, you're gonna end up binging. And I've been there, right, where I just cut out everything before, and then it ends up having the opposite effect. So still keeping the foods that you enjoy, that you truly love, but maybe just reducing the amount that you consume of them. So I think cheat days are great, a powerful tool. I still use them now in my advanced years, just because they can kind of boost your metabolism if you're in a deficit for a long time. A cheat day where I just eat like as much and anything that I want. So if I want to eat pizza and donuts, then I'm going to eat that day. But I don't consume those type of foods on the daily anymore. And that's just for me personally, because I realized when I cut those out of my daily intake of them, I felt better. It wasn't necessarily just the number on the scale. I felt better, physically, mentally, spiritually. I felt better. Some of those foods are dead foods. They're not doing anything for you, which is why you can eat so much of them, right? They're high in calories, but there's no nutrients in them. So you never really feel full, because, people are walking around with too many calories and not enough nutrients. So they can just keep eating more and more and more. That's why fast food has that effect too. You can eat 50 chicken nuggets and then, a couple hours go by and you can probably eat more. There's very little nutrients in them. There's very little even chicken in some of those nuggets, right? If we're talking some of these fast food places. So, yeah, losing 10 pounds, it can feel overwhelming if you're just starting out. But I promise you, if you make these small changes, you will see improvements. One more thing I wanted to drill in there before I ended this video is just the importance of hydration. If you are in a dehydrated state, which a lot of people are, especially here in the West, it can sometimes feel as though you're hungry, but really you're just dehydrated. So, just upping your water intake can help tremendously with losing weight. Making sure that you're hydrated throughout the day, right? Not just drinking a bunch of water and then not drinking water, but really constantly be drinking water. I walk around with this gallon glass jug. Everyone makes fun of me for it, but I'm drinking 1 to 2 of those a day. Closer to 1 a day if I'm not doing cardiovascular exercises, and if I'm doing cardio, it's closer to 2 gallons a day. But that can help make you feel full as well, and it's just healthier for your body and your joints, and just overall health in general. But making sure you're hydrated. So if that's seltzer waters and carbonated waters, if you're trying to like get off soda or enjoy those more, that's fine. But just water in general, be pushing that. You will notice that will make you feel fuller throughout the day if you're trying to lose weight and you're cutting your calories. Definitely make sure your water intake is where it needs to be.